dude, you're crushing it. You're only 22 years old, but you have almost 1 billion views across everything.
I think we're about to hit 1 billion views in like a month.
You had this platform that you've been building, and it worked out.
So I started making sports videos when I was 10. Asked my mom if I could borrow her phone. Fell in love with that, and the rest is history.
What is the advice you have to a college freshman about just getting started?
80% of life is just showing up. Even if you're not a creator, post about your life. You got to do what the 99% of people aren't doing.
How did you find your North Star?
Like I said, I think I found it by like testing out different majors that I was maybe considering.
You got the hacks, you just plugged it, right? You clearly know kind of the sauce, the game plan to do so.
College students who don't have a calendar scare me. So find someone that you want to be like when you're older and ask them, how should I be using my free time?
Ready to rock?
I'm ready.
Let's do it! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, bro.
I'm fired up, guys, and appreciate you having me on. We're definitely gonna chop it up. Yeah, man, I'm doing great.
And welcome back, and welcome back, and welcome back to the Growth Street Podcast, your #1 podcast for career development and evolution. I'm your host, Darsh Patel. In each episode, we unlock insights from the minds shaping industries and innovation. This conversation could change the way you see everything. This is our first episode of 2025, and I could not be more excited to be sat across from another Penn State student/alumni, Mr. Justin Leusner. How you doing, brother?
Let's go, baby. Thanks for having me, Darsh.
Dude, it's a pleasure,
to
man.
be on the show.
Yeah, thank you, man. I think I've been seeing you everywhere from all the kind of network I had at Penn State, which is a crazy community you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
But, dude, you're crushing it. You're only 22 years old. You're an entrepreneurship major at Penn State.
Yep.
But you have almost 1 billion views across everything and over 1 million total followers / subscribers on all your social media platforms, all while being a college student right now. So, dude, I also want to give you your plaudits because you're killing it right now, man. Genuinely, like, you're crushing it.
I appreciate it. One quick note.
Yeah.
I graduated on over the weekend.
Dude, congratulations.
So I'm not a student anymore.
Let's go. Okay, so you're an alumni
That's like
now.
the first time I've said that. I'm an alumni, which is
go.
so weird.
Yeah, man. Congrats.
But
How
yeah.
does it feel? You're done now.
It feels the same.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Because I'm going to go right back to State College and
Yeah.
finish because I graduated a little early, so I'm going to do the full 4 years.
Okay. Enjoy your time there. And
Exactly,
everything.
because the team will be there. I'll be working full-time at the
Yep.
launch box.
Yeah.
With the Penn State community, which
Yep.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun.
Dude, I know. Everyone I meet from there, it's crazy because I never knew this whole entrepreneurship little bubble existed with Penn State. From like Austin Thomas with Jerpa
Yep.
to Jawan Farah with Go Time
Yep.
to all of these people who are all doing, your thing with Tday Sports. Everyone has their own thing going on, and I think it's amazing. And what it makes me think of is that I think, most college students don't know that this kind of experience exists where most people think, go into college, meet a few friends from your floor, ride it out, have a good time, graduate, get a job. And I think you should either get a really good job after you're done or kind of do your own things. Trying to find your own way of succeeding when it's done. But I really want to understand, like, you were once a freshman from out of state, going to a brand new place really far away. And bro, you pretty much figured it out, I would say. So I want to kind of like just talk today with you about how to make college the most successful and beneficiary experience you could possibly have. Cause you have some sauce on that, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State is a great spot, but really you could do it at any college.
Yeah.
You got to find the resources, though. So, yeah, as a freshman, I hated Penn State. I wanted to either drop out. I never wanted to go to college. I wanted to be a full-time YouTuber. I wanted to make content. And first semester, I hated it. It was super cold. I had like no friends. I lived in North Halls, which I don't know if your brother knows, but North Halls sucks. It's super far away. No one lives there. It's just all like the super introverted. There's a ton of international kids that don't speak English. Like, it was just not a fit. But I found I was desperately looking for a YouTube club. Nothing. Social media club. Nothing. Entrepreneurship club, bingo, I found it.
Okay.
CIES, it had 5 people.
Wow.
They were restarting the club again, so I joined that exec board and helped them kind of relaunch that club.
Yeah.
Shout out Eric, North Jersey guy. But it was still it was very like corporate based. Like everyone just wanted to they were corporate innovation and entrepreneurship. That was the major.
Okay.
But there was nothing for like just entrepreneurs or content creators.
Yeah.
And then in March, there's a thing called Startup Week at Penn State. So it's a week-long conference, right? I think it's right usually before or after the Penn State Sports Business Conference that Juwan helped to run.
Yep.
And it's a 5-week conference. They fly in people from San Francisco. They have
Wow.
tens of thousands of dollars in funding to bring in Penn State people that build businesses. And I found this place called the Launch Box that was hosting Startup Week.
Yeah.
And I was like, where has this been?
Where? Yeah.
It was March 2022, so it was already 8 months into or 7 months into my college career.
Yeah.
And I found it and immediately fell in love. They had programs. They were giving out $250,000 a year in funding
Oh my
for students.
God, that's crazy.
Zero equity, nothing.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with that, and the rest is history.
Wow. So I guess, dude, it's crazy because for me when I was at Maryland, the exact same experience. My freshman year, I was like, dude, this actually sucks. And I'm sure you and maybe, I don't know how you were in high school, but for me, I had a pretty good time in high school. I had a lot of friends, played some sports, had a good time. And I go to college and I'm like, there's nothing for me here. Why am I struggling in all my classes? Where are the friends that I've been like thinking that we're gonna be here?
Yeah.
Where's everything? And then over time, as long as you are going to what you want, you'll find it. So how does someone go and find it though? Like you found it for your entrepreneurship, but like let's say you're interested in something else. How do you think someone can go and actually find, like I guess not even how to find it, what is the advice you have to a college freshman about just getting started after they're having that rut experience like you had?
Yeah, to all the college freshmen, 80% of life is just showing up.
Yeah.
So you got to show up to the clubs. You got to show up to the networking events. You got to show up to the extracurriculars. You got to show up to lunches and meet people and use LinkedIn and show up on people's feeds. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're not a creator, post about your life.
Yeah.
That's a touch point right there.
Yep.
Even if you're not a business person or a creator, you are a brand. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So 80% of life is just showing up day in, day out. Keep being everywhere. Jawan's the best at that.
Yeah, he's
everywhere.
literally everywhere. Shout out Jawan.
Exactly. I don't know if you saw his travel schedule, but over the next 2 weeks, he's going to be in 7 different cities.
Crazy.
Oklahoma City, Chicago, LA, New York, Philly, etc. Show up, make content. Even if you're not a creator, post on LinkedIn what you're doing.
Yes.
Even if you're just a regular student and you want to work finance or you want to be an engineer, post about what you're learning. Post about the events, the clubs you're going to. Just show up.
I completely agree with you because I think the biggest part about that is that even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, companies that are recruiting will see these things.
Correct.
So like literally if you are posting about your time as a computer science major, your experience what this looks like, well now maybe instead of waiting until your junior year summer, now you're after your freshman year, you know, Microsoft's going to say, oh my God, this guy has 2,000 new followers, 2,000 likes about his experience as a software engineer at University of Rutgers. I want him to come to Microsoft, one, be a software engineer, but maybe he'll make content about us. And there's so many ways to get just more opportunities. And even just that, just friends. Like you might find people when you go out now who are like, oh, well, this guy's like me. I'm looking for a friend in software engineering. I don't know one, but I see him posting about it.
Yeah.
This could be a boy for me. This could be a good new friend for me.
100%.
Yeah.
People hire likable people.
Yes.
People hire people they want to be around.
That's the key one. You could be the most smartest person in the interview process, but at the end of the day, they're gonna hire who they want to work with.
Yes.
That's the entire thing. So I think so now you've been in college, you kind of figured out, okay, I'm showing up, I'm going to these clubs, I'm going to these networking events. I'm going, but I'm not really knowing what to do. I'm kind of like a wallflower, but that's okay. You know, you're just kind of getting there, getting your feet wet. You know, there's a panelist speaker. I'm not asking any questions, but I'm in the crowd.
Absolutely.
I'm everywhere. I'm in class.
Yeah.
I'm at the events. I'm at these clubs. What is the next step that they can take to now go, well, how can I get more involved in things? How can I actually sink my teeth into something? Because I don't want to just be another invisible person in this room. I want to actually be someone and feel like valuable in these places to kind of, again, not even be successful, but find friends. How do they do that?
I love that question. And this is the part where people miss. This is where you go from good to great.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You got to do what the 99% of people aren't doing. You got to be the 1%. So if everyone's just watching a panel, you got to be the person that stays until the absolute end and waits and helps them walk to their car and whatever.
Yes.
Or you offer to drive them to the airport like Jawan did with David Edelman at the PSSBC. Wow. You got to do what the 1% does. You got to stand out. I was talking to a middle schooler yesterday who's building a really cool business.
Wow.
And he's making money, made thousands of dollars last year, making custom bats. And I asked him, why aren't you documenting your journey? He goes, well, no other 12-year-olds on LinkedIn. I said, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're the only one that would do that.
Yes.
The value prop of that, you're going to be so set apart. So be set apart. Be different.
Yeah, because think about it this way. Imagine he's posting content about building a successful business as a 12-year-old until he's like 18.
Yes.
Could you imagine the kind of grip he's going to have across the entire industry when he's 18, 20, 19?
It's raps.
Yeah, he won't even need to go to college probably.
He can get whatever job he wants. He could probably get into a great school.
Yes.
He can build, or he just keep building his business and he'll have so much sales
So many opportunities. Because
exactly.
right now all it is a company. But if he becomes a person, I would argue the person actually becomes more valuable than the company because if he can create one thing, there's a great chance he can create another thing, right? Like even for you, right? If you lost Tday Sports tomorrow, every single thing, I would say in a year, you'd be right back to where you are now because you know exactly how to do it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So
It'd probably be better.
Yeah, probably better because you've learned things too over this past year. So you'd
100%.
actually be better and faster.
100%. It's like the lean startup. You iterate, fail fast, quick.
Seriously, and I think even for myself, right? I think what you learn is by you learn how to fail forward, right? As long as you're failing forward continuously.
Yep.
And this
Love that.
applies to college students too, right? Because most kids watching this. Let's say you're a college freshman. For me, I had a group of friends on my floor, right? These 4 or 5 guys that I had the best time with. But it was crazy because it was actually something where I had a good time. They were decent friends. But the next year we all were looking for apartments, right? And now we all want to, live together. But there's only 4-room apartments. There's 5 of us. Guess who was left out? It was me.
Oh.
And I realized, I got to rethink some things here. I got to find people that are not just easy and accessible, but are actually like me, value me for who I am. Because my whole life I never had this friendship problem ever. And I realized, here at college, I just wasted a whole year not getting closer to my goals, not figuring out who I want, but what did I do? Again, I figured out mistakes I made and how I can learn from these opportunities. Yep. So then going into year 2, it was, okay, my goal now is to find a community. And in my opinion, which I think is low-key facts, I'm not going to say I think it's facts, is community is what will save your entire college career. Like finding a community. If you're just by yourself the entire time with a couple of pockets of friends, you may have a fun time, maybe, but by being around like-minded people who are similar to you or want to go the same place that you're going, you're going to find a lot of fun and a lot of friendship, but also a lot of low-key success and networking opportunities along the way. So I want to talk about you because I know you've definitely built some community or been a part of one in your college experience. So bro, tell me about that shit. What was it like for you finding those people and actually building that network of friends for you when you were in college?
I love this question.
Yeah.
Like I said, my whole freshman year, even until March was startup week, April really still had zero community. I did the summer idea test lab program online. Okay. So I moved back home here, no community because I grew up really with no friends. I was just making content.
Yeah.
So August 2022, going into my sophomore year, still zero friends.
Yeah.
Just my roommates, who some of them were from Morristown where I grew up. Okay. So really zero Penn State friends.
Yeah.
Like I said, no social media club. No YouTube club. Really not a fantastic entrepreneurship club for people that didn't want to go corporate.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, well, I can pull a Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Penn State Reach. Started that with Juwan Farah.
Yep.
And we said we're going to create a community for college creators who want to be full-time content creators when they graduate. And that's what we did. We built Penn State Reach. It is the #1 biggest Reach chapter in the country right now. Yeah. There's about 35 across the country. It started in USC. We were the 3rd school. Now it's blown up to 35 schools over the past few years. Yeah. And so that was that community. Yeah. At the same time, started Tday Sports. That kind of was a snowball from 2013. We could talk about that later. Okay. But that started hiring kids from Reach, hiring kids from the Belisario College of Communications, hiring kids from Smeal College of Business. Yeah. And then we had just a great culture and a great community because it was a fun startup. We'd work at the launch box. So I had to create those communities. Yeah, you did. And still today, all my friends are either from Penn State Reach, from Tday Sports, or from church, which I had to go out and create those relationships. None of them came to me.
Yeah, you had to build it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think even if, you have to build it yourself, talk about it because I want to hear what that's like because a lot of times my biggest advice is even if you don't build it, you have to at least join something that is not easy to join. Yeah. So meaning if you join a club that has no barrier of entry, you're not going to value it, neither will everyone else. So what will it turn into? A time of passing, something to just eat the clock. But let's say you join some kind of exclusive business fraternity or something. That's what I did. It makes everyone value it a lot more and each other a lot more because now it's like you had to earn it. Similar to what you said, you had to earn your keeps because you had to build it yourself. So talk about that. How did you actually build your own community? And what was that like? Because a lot of kids watching right now, we want to show them where, if you're lonely, like both of us were, we literally were both lonely as shit our freshman year. Out of state, far from home. You can't just come home every weekend if you want to.
Nope.
You had to figure out how to make this next 4 years a great time because if not, a lot of bad things can happen to your mind and your whole future if you don't figure it out. So tell me about that, bro.
Yeah, I think what it was people attracted towards the things I was doing because I was showing up and posting about it on LinkedIn and Instagram Reels and posting videos on YouTube Shorts. So people like, bro, I saw you on LinkedIn or whatever. I saw your video on YouTube, or even people that I kind of saw around classes and whatever. Like, dude, I saw your video, or you posted on LinkedIn that you went to this event or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was showing up on their feed, and I was showing up at events and going to all the networking events and going to all the entrepreneurship little events and conferences and the Penn State Sports Business Conference. So showing up, building that community happened because I kept showing up.
Okay.
And because I would also want to get lunch with everyone.
Yeah.
Kind of learned this from Jawan.
Okay.
How can I Monday through Friday, 5 lunches, 5 dinners. That's 10 meetings right there, an hour each.
Yeah.
That's quality time max to the max.
Yeah.
So I was a Chipotle merchant my sophomore year. And then I pivoted to Roots junior year. And then this last year, K2 Roots.
Okay.
That I'm addicted to.
I love Chipotle, bro. What is Roots? What is Roots?
Roots is a state college like bowl place.
Okay.
Yeah. And then K2 Roots has bowls, and then they have like buffalo chicken sandwiches and shakes, and they have like cold punch.
So you leveled up every year. You picked the new spot.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel like those conversations and that like posting is what able to like, how did that build community for you? Because I think that helped you make connections and make individual friendships. But how did that create belonging for you? Because
I like that.
I think the hard part for so many students is belonging. Because I knew when I was in college, I had a couple of one-off friends. You know, if I go out, maybe I'll see someone I know. But I never felt like Maryland was home. I always felt like Maryland was college, right? When I considered home. Like for me, my freshman year, bro, when I came back for like spring break, for winter break, I was like, yes, I'm coming home. Homecoming, my brother's here, my family's here, everyone's here, this is home. My sophomore year, after joining my business fraternity, now Maryland felt like home.
Nice.
And I think what I want every student to feel like is they deserve their college experience to feel like home, right?
Yeah.
Or they deserve to, wherever they're spending most of their time, whether it's an entrepreneurship or their internship, whatever it is, that should feel like home as much as you can crave it to be like that. So how did you create Penn State to make it feel like home? What was that moment?
Dude, that's super cool. Yeah, that moment was probably junior year when I didn't want to go home for the first time because I was kind of going home once a month.
Okay.
Because I, like I said, didn't really have many friends. Freshman year, sophomore year was starting to build that community.
Yep.
But it wasn't until I started hosting events and created reach and hosted club meetings and was like hosting that community that I met at other places.
Yeah, talk
so
about
now
reach.
I own the community.
Talk about reach. I want to hear about that because I know what it is. It was crazy. My last podcast guest, Natalie, she was telling me about the CEO of Reach, and she knows him because she's a part of this like founders community.
Yeah.
So
Natalie Neptune.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know her?
Yes.
Yeah, she was my last guest. My last podcast
sick.
guest.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. She's the GOAT.
LinkedIn top voice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fit.
Yeah, I'm saying. So she knows the CEO of Reach. She was kind of going to introduce us.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I went to Penn State the week after that, and I met with Sebastian, who is now on the board of Reach, and now I'm meeting you, who's the founder of Reach.
And Jawan is the co-founder.
Literally, right?
Yep.
So
and Mike Giroux was the first ever speaker.
There you go.
Bingo.
Literally.
Yep.
So tell me about this club because I want people to kind of watch this and say, well, maybe there's one at my school, maybe I can create one, or just like the kind of the foundations of what a successful club/community looks like. So now they can see it and say, I want to be a part of something like this. I want to, inspire someone watching at home.
Absolutely. Well, like any good product out there was a gap in the market. Like I said, I was pissed.
Yeah.
No YouTube club, no social media club.
Man, Penn State was selling on that one, right?
Exactly. There was no entrepreneur club within the world of media.
Yeah.
And so there was a huge gap in the market. And immediately when we created it, at Mike Giroux was our first meeting, we had like 70 kids come.
Wow.
And all we did was just went to the involvement fair and made a little makeshift sign. We weren't even registered as an org, and we kept getting in trouble, but we didn't care. We just kept meeting.
Yeah.
We didn't have a table during the involvement fair. We would just go out, hold up the sign with the QR code to join the GroupMe. 300 kids joined the GroupMe overnight.
Wow.
Jawan and I went on an absolute PR run. We got on the PSN TV. We were in the Daily Collegian and the Onward State and all the articles. We spoke in classes, and we reached out to the dean, and they had us and talk and whatever and stuff like that. So yeah, Penn State Reach is a community connecting college creators.
Yes.
People that want to be creators or they are creators. And the real good thing is that Dylan Huey, the chairman and founder of Reach, sends daily brand deals where you make money. It's the only club where you're making money.
Wow.
And taking home a profit and building your dreams.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's no social media major, no social media classes other than digital PR by Bill
So if you're
Zimmerman.
interested in it, you're coming here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolute gap in the market.
Yeah.
And now Penn State, I think they're introducing like a media creation minor or certificate.
Right when you graduate, right?
Exactly. Which shout out to Dean Harden. You're the GOAT for doing that. But yeah, it was just a gap in the market.
Yeah. Okay. So then I think it's fascinating. So I think, kind of even taking a step back, right? It's like, this is so needed, right? It's like, thank God it's here. Now we finally have something. And for you, that was your junior year. Now you're on this roll. You had momentum. And it's like, you found your footing. So I'm sure at some point you're like, okay, well, now I have this much time left. What do I want to be? Did you have a moment while you were in that? Because I don't know. I would love to hear now about your personal goals because I think the way I describe college is funny. I think the first 2 years, I think the way you think about college is so different. Like when you're at the library with your friends the first 2 years, it feels like you're thinking more about stupid shit. Like, in my opinion, like from what I've heard from a lot of college people is like, not stupid stuff, but more of like, who's talking to who, what's, where's the party we're going to, or is there a good thing we should join? Should we all go to this concert? Whatever it is. That's your first 2 years, right?
Yep.
But once you hit your junior year, now it's like, well, now we're thinking about internships. Now we're thinking about jobs. Now we're thinking about like our actual futures. Because now it's like, it's coming. You can feel it coming, right? Let's get real. So for you, I'd love to hear about like that moment for you. I know you've always kind of been locked in, and I could tell that because I was someone like similar to you. But I don't think every student is like that, which is completely okay.
Absolutely.
Because everyone goes to college for different reasons.
Exactly.
But I think, now when you have this moment of, I want to go out, I want to be successful, I finally have my first target or goal, how do you go and do that? Because as you were saying, the posting element, I completely get that. I think you should do that. If you're watching this, you should definitely like, go back and watch, like start doing daily posting, talk about your life, document. But how can you kind of now, once you're serious, set yourself up with your college experience that you've hopefully been building for the past 2 years to go out and actually like make these next 2 years successful for you and get out what you want, which could be this Tday Sports or this brand you're building, or even, an amazing corporate job at your dream company.
Yeah, absolutely. I think by sophomore, junior year, if you did a good job freshman year getting out there, even if you did a bad job like me, you at least kind of know your goal. And so I think you have to have one singular goal, and this applies to entrepreneurship as well and making content. One singular goal. My goal was graduate and not have to get a real job so that I could be a creator. That was my one singular goal.
Yeah.
So everything I did, creating Penn State Reach, founding Tday Sports, making content, posting weekly LinkedIn recaps every Monday on documenting my life, going to events, going to conferences, making certain types of friends, was for that one goal.
Okay.
So I think you have to have that one North Star, whether that's I want to work for JP Morgan or I want to be a content creator when I graduate and partner with the Redskins or whatever.
Yeah. So tell me now. So you just graduated. Yep. Did you meet your goal?
That's right.
You did it?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. So tell me, and now I want to hear about it. So what was your goal?
Yep.
And how did you, so you told me how you got there, but walk me through that now, because I think this is something that could be like inspiring, not even for someone like, even for myself. I always say like, these are conversations where there was no one even watching. Like we get the benefit of meeting each other and learning about how to be successful, right? So even if we're reflecting now on, you're literally just graduated this weekend, which is crazy. Again, crazy shit. But now reflecting on it, what was your goal? How did you get there? And how did you feel about that entire process for you?
Yeah, good question. So the goal was really confirmed freshman year.
Yeah.
I kind of, like I said, my whole life didn't want to go to college, wanted to go to USC or UCLA, but didn't get in.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a content creator. But then once I hit freshman year of college, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like I do not want to, I kind of was like, maybe I'll get management degree or go finance route. That's what my dad wanted me to do.
Yeah.
But I confirmed that goal freshman year after kind of trying out. I tried out the management club, tried out some finance stuff, confirmed that goal freshman year. And then what was your question? How did I get it?
So for you had your North Star.
Yeah.
So I guess one is, how did you find your North Star? And then how did you actually get there? Because again, it's perfect timing because you just graduated, right? So now you know that you said yourself you achieved it. So how did you get there from after you figured it out?
Yeah. Like I said, I think I found it by like testing out different majors that I was maybe considering. And then once I did the entrepreneurship club and helped kind of restart that, I was like, oh yeah, entrepreneurship is what I want to do. And also I kind of met people who went down the different paths that just graduated and like saw that they were a little miserable. So I was like, I don't think that's for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how did I do it? Really the Launchbox carried. And I think every school kind of has this now.
Talk about it. Talk about Launchbox. What is it?
Like I said, I think universities are starting to introduce it now. It's an entrepreneurship like incubator where they have programs, accelerators. They give you money even. There's pitch competitions.
Yep, I've seen. We had those at Maryland. It's called the Digman Center of Entrepreneurship.
Sick. Okay, bet. Yeah. And then Syracuse has one called like Launchpad. Drexel has their own school of entrepreneurship. USC has one and they give it a lot of money. Like every school has it now.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I found it late freshman year, but it was super under like resourced.
Yeah, 5 students you said, right? It was like 5 kids.
No one would go.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it was very resourced, under-tapped. Like no one would go into it.
Okay, but they're putting a lot into it.
Yes, because it's funded by the state of Pennsylvania for economic development. So they're splashing hundreds of thousands of dollars every year.
Yeah.
And Penn State's also funding it, so it's funded by taxpayers because that's a school-funded business. So yeah, it was great. Did all those programs, and that kind of gave me the structure, the mentorship, the advisors, the connections, the motivation, and even the validation. Something I've learned at Penn State is whoever wins the pitch competition every year, the big pitch competition for $30K, always does well and keeps going because they get the validation of like, oh, this is real business.
Okay.
I don't think it's about the funding. I think it's about the validation.
Did you win the competition?
We got second place.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did 4 others and won all of those. So
wow.
Exactly. So
all for the same
for Today's Sports.
Okay.
We raised $35,000 equity-free cash funding, like 0%, no loan, nothing, just like free money.
Okay.
From a couple different pitch competitions. I even did one in Jersey.
Wow.
At RCBC, Rowan College of Burlington County.
Okay.
And won $3,000 or $1,000 or something like that for their startup stars. Like I said, every school has it.
Yeah.
But I took summer classes online at RCBC, so I got to do that one.
So is that why you took the classes there to do?
No.
Okay.
I did it because
that's 1,000 IQ play if you did.
That would be, but that another 1,000 IQ play is you don't have to do Penn State classes if you go to Penn State. You don't have to do. You could do summer classes online at a really easy school for $300 a class versus paying $50K a year at Penn State out of state tuition.
Yeah, and then you have that time back also.
Exactly.
So now that time can go into whatever your goal is, whether it's networking for your corporate America or building out a company like Today's Sports.
Exactly. I came into college with 0 credits.
Yeah.
Did not do well in the AP tests that I took.
Yep.
So I came in with 0 credits, but I graduated in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
While funding, starting a business and a club.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
Yeah.
Summer classes, CLEP tests, DSST tests, all the finesses in the world.
Yeah.
If you're interested in graduating college early and saving money, DM me on Instagram. I'll give you my whole Google sheet with all the hacks.
Yeah, he has the hacks, guys. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Seriously.
And I made college so freaking easy.
Yeah.
I was on Rate My Professor for hours every semester, seeing who had the most flexible professor for travel. So I got to see ones that required mandatory attendance.
Okay.
I would even network with the professors and take them out to lunch and learn from them. And they loved me because I was, one, proactive, but also I was building something cool.
Yeah.
And my story was cool. That's another thing I want to talk about. It's like everyone has a story, regardless of if you're a creator or an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your story is going to get you hired. Your story is going to get you VC money one day, whatever whatever that is.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is so true because when it comes to almost anything in life, what people should pull away from what you just said is that by being like everyone else, you will be like everyone else.
Bingo.
So by you even saying how your experience with these college professors, this is not just with college professors. This can be really grand looked out into so many other things, right? Even like with companies, right? When they're hiring for 1 or 2 kids, like these professors pick 1 or 2 kind of like favorites who they're actually supporting and bending the rules almost for. They're gonna always pick the person that they know and that they like. So what you have done, you've really understood, okay, like how can I do everything the most optimal way? And what does that allow you to do? Do more things and do them more successfully. That's basically what you're doing, right? And I think about when you're now creating your company, right? That's something that I want to talk about because you are in school and you have to do these certain classes. You have to do these certain summer classes, but you have a fixed amount of time every day. And you also, I'm sure, want to be happy and be around people and, you know, have that whole experience too. So now it becomes, how do you actually coexist, you know, college with spending your extra free time to get to your North Star? Because for you, it was building a company, and I'm sure you're going to speak about it in that context. But for someone else, that could be networking, right, to get to their dream company. What does that look like for you, and how did you do it, and how did you kind of set it up yourself? Because you got the hacks. You just plugged it, right? You clearly know kind of the sauce, the game plan to do so. So I want to hear about it, bro.
College students who don't have a calendar scare me. It's like, one, how are you remembering all of those things? Or number 2, you're clearly not doing enough. Or number 3, you're bound to forget stuff.
Yeah.
So I relied on Google Calendar.
The GOAT. Google Calendar. If you guys don't have it, I said it on other podcasts before. Changed my entire. I think my life changed when I started using Google Calendar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any calendar, and I use Google as well.
Yeah.
And then color coding. So orange is Today's Sports, blue is classes, purple is making sure I'm working out and eating food, and blue, yellow is networking meetings, like segueing or segmenting things.
Yep.
And then you had another interesting question.
Well, yeah, it was basically so now that you figured this out, right? So when you have all this free time, how do you figure out how to use this free time to get to your North Star? Because every college student has their classes, has their homework, has their tests. How would you recommend they use their free time in order to get to where you are? And I want to hear about how you did it yourself through that context as well.
That's a great question. Yeah, everyone's going to be different.
Yeah.
So find someone that you want to be like when you're older and ask them, how should I be using my free time?
So who's that for you?
Nolan Molt.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, so he is the founder of Content Academy. He also founded a channel called Basketball Club, which I kind of helped start and run and build that on YouTube. But yeah, he's a super smart guy, builds business in the YouTube and social media world. Okay. Has a family, has a couple kids, is married. He's like 26 years old. He's a beast of a guy.
Unicorn.
Exactly. Yeah, he already bought a house a few years ago, and he's crushing it. So I want to be like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what did you do? How did you connect with him to have him kind of show you the ropes, or at least like how did you you
question.
now identified who the person is?
Yep.
How did you go from identification
Yep.
to a relationship?
Yeah, he posts on Instagram that he's looking for someone to help start a basketball channel.
Yeah.
Good news, I run a basketball
less.
YouTube business.
Yeah.
Is it paid? No, you get like 10% of revenue. Do
Yeah.
I care? The money would be nice, but
Yeah.
I have the luxury of time. I'm a college student. I don't have to pay bills. Why don't I go and work for him for free and learn and get to hang out with him and build a deep connection and ask him questions on Zoom calls once a week?
Yeah. Real.
There you go.
So was that like an internship, or was that like every single day? So now tell me, like, what was that experience like? And then I also want to hear about how that helped you with Tday Sports. And I want
Exactly.
you to talk about that whole thing too.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly really kind of a distraction to Tday
Yeah.
Sports because it was building another basketball YouTube channel
Yeah.
when I was already building Basketball Today. But I loved it because we had weekly Zoom calls every Monday for an hour. I got to help learn his brain on YouTube, but also his brain on how to scale and build teams and be a good leader. He was an excellent leader that helped me be a great leader for my team.
Yeah.
I even got to bring in some people from Tday Sports to work for him as well.
Oh, wow.
To kind of like learn from him all together and apply it to our business.
That's awesome. That's really smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just like kind of working for free. I ended up making like, I think $2,000 total over a span of a year, which, like I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
still
not about
good,
the money.
though. It says $2,000. It's
Yeah.
still $2,000.
It was good, but the point of that was to just learn from him and be like his like apprentice.
And then what were the most valuable things that you learned, would you say?
Just by watching him do things. The best way I learned is like watching by doing and seeing the intangible skills, the soft skills, buzzword.
Yeah.
Just watching him be a leader on Zoom calls.
Okay.
Watching him be a leader in his family and being a great husband and kid and father of 2 newborns while building a startup.
Crazy.
And quitting his job.
Yeah.
Like that. Just watching him do those things, seeing his character through it all.
Yeah, because then it kind of shows you if this is exactly a good person. For one, he's a good person.
Yep.
And he's successful. Well, shit, I got to do it. I got to move how he moves in a way. That's exactly what it is.
I want to be like him, so why don't I just copy him?
Yeah, that's exactly the way. Like, even
Exactly.
for me, the same thing. Do you know who Patrick Bet-David is or no?
Of course.
Yeah, so to me, he's like the GOAT.
Sick.
So for me, when I was a college sophomore, college freshman when I first found out who he was. And he was literally worked in insurance his whole life. An immigrant born from Assyria or Iran in the Middle East, comes here and graduates, kind of is like living this like playboy life, not really doing anything, like has like really no idea over his future.
Yeah.
And then one time he was actually at a family event and someone made fun of his dad for like his career or whatever. And he took it so personal. He was like, how can someone make fun of you? And the dad was like, it doesn't really matter what people think about us, whatever. And that moment for him changed his entire life because he's like, I'm going to make our name so great where no one can ever smear our name ever again.
Wow.
And he went from like a 27-year-old with like no future to now literally have been building multiple, almost billion-dollar businesses, writing multiple books, having the biggest live stream during the election season. So many big things he's done. I think multiple million subscriber YouTube channels. And he interviewed talents like Tom Brady, like Kobe Bryant. And he's just another random guy like you and me.
But
So, yeah.
he has a great story.
Exactly. So what I had to think about was, okay, well, how did he do it? What were things that he did? How did he start? And he always says is that never copy someone while they're at the peak of their powers because that is not replicable by someone like you. So you have to see how they started and what they kind of reflect on them and they wish they did. So right now, my first year of this was, okay, well, I want to create something that's similar to what he did, right? He has Valuetainment. I have Growth Street Podcast. So I want to create something where it's so valuable, but also entertaining, but to my target audience, right? His is to business owners and young entrepreneurs. For me, it's to young people who want to find their dream careers. So it's figuring out, okay, well, this is what he does. How do I go and do that? So then I have to reverse engineer these thoughts, right, and figure out what that path is going forward. And I think the idea of this, what we're saying is, so many people at home who have this goal, have this North Star, there are so many people who are actually living their North Star right now. And that to me was, once I figured that out in college, I was like, oh my God, this is really like brain changing because now I know there's people who are where I want, I gotta talk to them. So for example, there's short-term goals and there's long-term goals. Before this goal I had of Growth Street, it was I wanted to work for an amazing company, make hella bread, and have a really cool time living wherever I was. So I was in this professional business fraternity, right? So for me, I was in Phi Chi Theta. They have one actually at Penn State. My brother actually went to Penn State and was a part of that. And I realized that there were students who were either seniors when I joined, I was a sophomore. there were students who were seniors or even graduates who are now alumni who worked at companies like Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn. And they would always come back and tell us their work-life balance is crazy. They get fed like crazy. They get over $100,000 a year once they graduate.
Yeah.
And they have the best experience ever. So to me it was, well, shit, now I have the opportunity to talk to these people, have my time and leverage this. And again, for me, dude, I was a struggling college student. I had no friends. Like, we were in a very similar spot. I didn't have the best grades and things like that. But I realized, okay, well, by talking to these people, I can now make my plan. And that's how I did it, right? So I think there's so much value to be had in finding a person and attaching yourself to them, or just learning from people who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, right? Because that's what you did. That's what I did. And it gives you so much perspective. And for me, it actually got me working at LinkedIn when I graduated college.
No way.
Yeah, for you, it literally got you
Yeah.
graduating now, where you had this platform that you've been building and it worked out.
Yeah.
I think it's really underrated.
100%. I love that, dude.
Yeah,
Let's go.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
I think even like, right, for Today's Sports, now tell me about that, because this was your North Star. You said you started working on it when you were in 2013, you said, or had this idea.
Yeah.
But it's got almost 1 billion views now. And this dream allowed you to not have to work a corporate job after college anymore, is what it sounds like.
That's right.
Tell me about it, man.
Yeah, it started in 2013 when I was 10. So it was January 13th, 2013, which is in like a week from when this is going live.
Crazy.
And so that'll be 12 years on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I started making sports videos when I was 10. Asked my mom if I could borrow her phone.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, just don't do anything stupid. And I was a good student, so they trusted me. But I didn't really have any friends. I was very shy, very nervous, not confident at all. The skinniest kid you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I weighed like no pounds.
You've been in the gym, though. I see you, bro.
I appreciate that. Now I'm trying to gain the weight. I have to gain 200 pounds in the next 4 days. Sorry, I have to get up to 200 pounds.
I was like, gain 200 pounds.
Yeah. No. Because I've been doing a challenge for the past 3 months to gain 15 pounds of whatever. Okay. And I still have like 4 pounds left, and I have 3 days.
You're almost there, bro. You got this, bro.
It's going to be a grind.
The mass gainer.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to need that. But yeah, so my goal, once I was like 15 years old, and I was posting daily YouTube videos, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And so it was just making content. Yeah. And I was like, I love YouTube. I love sports. I went to VidCon every year. That's why I wanted to go to USC.
Okay. And
that was the dream. My channel kind of died in 2019, and I really burnt out after like daily posting for 6-7 years.
You daily posted for 7 years?
Yeah, I did NBA Live Mobile, Madden Mobile, MLB The Show, just like sports video games.
Yeah.
And that was my whole life.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how did that go? Like, how did that perform over that time?
So by October 2019, which is kind of like when I stopped, I had like 49,200 subscribers. So I was super close to 50K.
Yeah.
At one point, I was making like $2,000 in a week via AdSense and brand partnerships. Yep. But it was, my entire identity was in the numbers and the views and the subscribers and the likes. And so when that all went away, so did my mental health. It was cooked.
Wow.
And like I said, I didn't have any friends, no community, no
all
confidence.
Your value was in this one thing. Basically.
Exactly. So when the channel died, felt like I did as well. And then COVID hit a few months later, which was kind of a cool reset period. But I was like super depressed. I was like, oh, now I got to go to college. Yeah. And like, I did not want to go to college. I wanted to just be. I honestly didn't even want to finish high school. Like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, they were like dropping out of high school, whatever. So I wanted to move out to LA and be a YouTube creator. And then once COVID hit, it was like, all right, well, I'm a junior in high school now. Time to start applying for colleges. Yeah. So I was like, I failed. Like I did not hit my goal. I failed. I was super close to 50K. I wanted to hit 50K.
Is that why you quit? Is it because you didn't hit 50K? Like, why'd you quit?
I quit because I just burnt out, and the views were going down as well. So it was a mix of burnout plus the views going down, and my identity was in the views. So once the views went to like 1,000 per video, because NBA Live Mobile and Madden Mobile were dying because Fortnite was taking over. I was just like, didn't want to.
This is cooked.
Yeah, I just like hated it, and I stopped posting for 6 months.
So then, what was the revival now like? So now you're in the mud. You're done. You decide, shit, reset. Gotta go to college, I guess. Fast forward, you now have almost 1 billion views, man, and you have over 1 million followers, subscribers. Talk about this revival, this phase 2. Because like that is a crazy story in itself.
Absolutely, yeah. So COVID hits March 2020. April 2020, my dad was like, hey, there's this program called Beta Bowl. Basically like Shark Tank, like Beta Fish or whatever. Yeah. You should do it. You can get $1,000 and pitch if you win. They help you build a business. It was a 4-week digital program. It was only like $200. Yeah. And like I said, classes were online. It was like such a joke, dude.
This is your freshman year of college.
Junior year of high school.
Oh, junior year of high
school. In 2020.
Okay, bet.
So I started the company called YF Visuals, which was a YouTube video editing business because I was really good at editing and I had connections in YouTube.
Yeah.
So I started building that company via Beatable and started getting clients. My first big client was MMG, Madden Mobile Gods.
Okay. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Familiar,
He does Madden content still.
I play Madden Mobile all the time.
Sick.
So
That's a fit.
Who knows? Maybe I watch your video. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
So I started editing for MMG. I think that was June 2020. And that kind of got like the groove back up again. But I was still like, I wanted to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like that was my dream my whole life. And I was good at being in front of the camera, but also editing. But like I was just editing. And I was editing for like 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week.
Wow.
Like, you know, it was COVID though, so I had all the time in the world. But I still want to be in front of the camera. I was still really depressed. Because like my views were done, my channel was done. Like everyone at school knew me as the YouTube kid. They didn't even know my name. I was just the YouTube kid.
YouTube kid, okay.
So that was just me. And when the YouTube channel, wait, why did you stop posting? It's like, okay, now I'm like, before as a kid, I was like invisible with the YouTube channel. I had a little bit of respect in school, and then right back to invisible. So I was like mental health cooked.
Yeah, wow.
I was like really, really depressed, and things were terrible during COVID as well because you're not going to classes. You really have no community. I really had no community outside of that.
Yeah.
I was in like the most toxic relationship ever. We broke up.
We all go through one of those, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that led me to just like, I really needed an answer there. So I bought like I was just down bad for answers.
Yeah.
So I bought like a Bible on Amazon.
Okay.
And was like, let me just read this. You know, like people say like, this is the thing.
Yeah.
So I read the Bible. I remember the story of Job where it was the guy who had everything in the world. He had all the money. He had like all the horse and all the cattle and whatever, and like had a ton of kids. And then like God took it all away from him, and he had literally like no clothes. He was homeless. He was the richest guy ever or whatever. And he was like completely down bad and broken. And he was like, broken I came, naked I came into this earth, naked I'll leave. You know, it doesn't matter. Like things of this world don't matter. And I was like, oh, that's like not the same story, but similar
It
vibes.
feels you felt you could relate to it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I kind of like randomly opened the Bible to like that story and just like read it and like stayed up till 4 a.m. one day and was like super interested. I always like reading.
Yeah.
And then I started reading more and more about like this Jesus guy and God and everything like that. And so I was like, all right, like, I mean, this is interesting. Like Jesus says, you know, like I will give you life and life more abundantly. And, you know, the world won't satisfy you, but I will. And so I was like, all right, let me put my faith in Jesus and follow God. And so that kind of was the revival. That was the spark. Like I said, I was super addicted to things, bad things, broken, depressed, anxious. And then it was July 2020. So a few months now of kind of like doing some editing, getting back, reading, you know, the Bible or whatever. Prayed overnight, like, God, please just like change my heart, like fix me. Like, I don't want to be depressed anymore. And the next day was like super different. Like I woke up. Everything was like bright. I was smiling. Everything was like great. Even like my music taste changed. I was like the biggest Travis Scott fan. I went to like all his concerts, and even I was like, I don't really care about
it's
the
not
music
hitting,
anymore.
it's not hitting the same.
Same. Yeah, and I had like a new heart to like, I want to build a business to like provide jobs for people and like be the light to others. And so that was the revival. That was July. August 2020, started hiring people. We scaled to like 200 YouTube channels we were editing for in a few months. Making like tens of thousands of dollars every month in like top line revenue, making some really good money. Stopped editing for MMG to kind of scale out
your own editing business.
Exactly. And so that kind of snowballed into Penn State. Freshman year of college, the reason why I didn't go out was because I was working on the business every single day.
Wow.
Getting, you know, no sleep. I gained like 20 pounds of like fat. I was like a fat freshman year.
Freshman 15. Yeah,
exactly. I had the freshman 20.
We all find our way to get there somehow, right?
Exactly.
Literally, again, same thing happened to me.
It's crazy, right? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I'm not even going anywhere. I'm not even like, how's it, like, what's happening? Yeah.
It must be the dining hall food. They probably loaded up with vegetable oil.
They gotta put some like nut shit in there.
I'm sure they do.
Telling you.
But yeah, so freshman year of college, and then I found the Launchbox and went in with that business. And then they were like, all right, well, what do you want to build? I was like, well, I want to build a business where I don't have to get a real job and I can be a creator when I graduate. They're like, well, then why aren't you making content? And so we're like, all right, let's have a video editing business, but let's also make content. How do we merge the two? So it went from YF Visuals to Tday Production and then Tday Sports. And so we still run both of those today.
So Tday Production still has all of those channels and still edits for tons of channels.
Yeah, we dialed it back down. So instead of editing for like hundreds, we edit for, I think it's about 7 right now.
Okay.
But we charge them anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000 a month to basically run their YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, make UGC content, edit their videos, do thumbnails, copywriting, ghostwriting, anything they need.
Okay.
We have a full service done for you social media agency for sports companies, sports brands.
Gotcha.
And then Tday Sports is like our own brands that we're building.
Okay, that's incredible. So then, I guess for one, how did the idea of Tday Sports was you finally? That's you being the creator, and Tday Production just became the production company in the background. I guess. Okay, that's amazing. So, again, I think this is crazy. How it's insane because some people I've talked to on this podcast, they either figured it out through this crazy moment, or they've been obsessed since they were younger. So what I want to understand for you is,
interesting.
I feel like a lot of people I talk to, and a lot of in general, people all have this dream, right? And I think people can fall off that dream here and there and come back, but it's almost like trying to find a way to where it's like, I want to keep it actionable and valuable, right? So let's say you're now, again, I want to kind of go back to this theme of you're now a college student again. Let's say going back to you're back to your freshman year, or if you have a best friend that maybe you know who was also struggling their freshman year, what advice would you go back to? Let's say you were going back to Penn State. So Justin, I'm going to pay you $10,000. You're going to speak to every single freshman. They're all going to be in the football stadium. You're our keynote speaker.
Oh, geez, pressure's on.
Yeah, pressure's on, and we want you to just be completely honest. You can say anything you want to these people, no filter.
Yep.
What are you talking to them about? How are you helping them figure this future out that had you in the trenches, had me in the trenches, and people like me and you, I think, find that light and find the way out, kind of. But so many don't. So many go back to community college and their life changes kind of for the worse, or they don't get the job that they want, and they put their value in things that shouldn't have their value in those things. What do you say to that? What do you say to that massive stadium of people, of freshmen? What do you do?
Okay, probably going to be a little cliche here, but usually what I've learned is what's cliche is true. If I was at Beaver Stadium speaking in front of 107,000 students and I was the keynote speaker for some conference, 3 things come to mind. Number 1, if you have a dream is just a goal without a deadline.
Okay.
So if you have a deadline to that, it's now like an actual thing you can achieve. I think I messed up that quote, but it's like a goal. Oh, it's a goal without a goal without a deadline is just a dream. So you need to change that to be, okay, well, my dream was to be a YouTube creator one day. That's my dream. Okay, what's the goal? When I graduate college, I need to be making enough money to pay my bills, to be making content and not having to get a job.
Yeah.
And I even broke that down into micro goals. And we do that with our business. We have 90-day goals for every single person on the leadership team. We have quarterly goals for every single person together. We have yearly goals. We have 3-year goals. We have a 10-year goal. We have a 20-year goal. The 20-year goal is actually sell out Beaver Stadium and host an event.
That's insane.
So you have to have goals, not just dreams. Like we could have all the dreams we want. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that it's honestly not that hard, especially with Gen Z. Gen Z is so freaking lazy.
Yeah.
It is so easy to win.
Yeah.
And I that sounds really prideful and boastful, but I'm trying to say that as encouragement to the audience, that it's very easy. It's not very easy, but it's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, yeah. And then what's the third thing?
The third thing, it's similar to what I said earlier, but I want to package it differently. And I know this will be a clip, which is why I'm taking my time with this hook.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
You got to be thinking in terms. I've been thinking in terms of clips this whole
time. For 10 years, bro. For 10 years.
Exactly. I think number 3, like I said, what's cliche is true. You need to put yourself outside your comfort zone. I grew up the most shy kid ever. You would not recognize me at all if you met me even just 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I put myself outside of my comfort zone. 10 Zoom calls a day, talking to customers and potential people and other creators and learning from them. Going to every single club meeting every single week. I had a club meeting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Flying across the country, going to conferences and events. I hate going up to people. I hate even doing this. I was nervous.
Yeah.
I hate talking in front of audiences. But I've done it so much now that I've actually taken the personality test. I'm now an extrovert because I forced myself to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because I put myself outside of my comfort zone, and people are like, "Wait, what? You used to be shy? No way." I'm like,
yeah. You have
literally
no idea.
not even 2 years ago.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
Zero confidence at all. And still, I kind of struggle with that.
Yeah.
But you got to put yourself outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, and I think I love that because, for one, it literally shows you were someone who had the really bad social experience in high school and college, but you built your own confidence through your actions, and now you are like, your subconscious went from I'm nothing to I actually think I'm something.
Yeah.
And then that shows in your extroverted tendencies now because I think people, when they're ashamed, even myself, right? When I'm going through a hard time, when I was in Chicago living there, I had a great job, I had all this experience, but I was having a really bad time mentally. and like bad relationship. Also had a tough time with like working and realizing that I don't want to do corporate America right now anymore in the same way. And what I do is, even when I was in college, when I was a freshman, going through the the trenches as we both said we went through, was you naturally self-isolate, right? Because I think when people are going through hard times, one, they don't want to be a burden, but they don't feel like themselves or confident enough to be putting themselves around even people that they care about, right? That's what I would do. But then when you're at the top, when you feel like you're actually that guy or whoever it is, and you feel so confident, whether it's your internship that you just got, whether it's you feel like you've been in the gym so you feel like you look good, you naturally are going out more. You're seeing people more. You want to be in more public spaces. It's the natural reality of things. So I think it's figuring out. I think the key in what you're saying a lot of is like, how can you figure out how to be more confident by actually doing things? Because if you can do that, whether it's, have a really strong resume, feel like you have a really good internship experience coming up, feeling like you can truly connect, like whatever your thing is, by giving yourself actual tangible self-confidence, especially on your insecurities, that'll make you naturally feel like you can go and achieve more of these things.
Fascinating. So it's like an identity thing.
Yeah, I think so, because it's like if you're having a hard time and you're really like self-conscious, you're not enjoying who you are or whatever internally, if you can't even like yourself, how do you think the other people are going to like you?
Exactly.
But if you like yourself, then you're going to think like, well, if I like myself, people are going to like me too.
Yeah.
It's like simple as that, right? It's like if you go into anything and you're nervous and you feel like I shouldn't be here, you have this weird imposter syndrome. Most people will say, well, have one conversation, and if it goes well, you'll stay. Well, most people who are already feeling like that will walk up to the door and not even go inside, right? It's like, well, if you maybe have that conversation and you get validated, then that will give you the confidence. But most people can't even get in the room, right? And I think what you're saying is great. I think with your goals, the way you set things up, I love talking to you about this because I can just tell you've learned so much across this time, from building teams, scaling teams, building a business. Because it sounds like you're almost better at business than you are at college. But you almost learned the business stuff through college as like your vessel almost, in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, the classes didn't teach much.
Yeah.
Because the classes that did teach much were the ones that encouraged you to build your company and do the thing and then talk about it in class.
Yeah.
Those are the best professors. So like Dr. Miller, Professor Brad Levy, like those people that are like, go do the thing and then talk about what you learned in class versus like just teaching theory.
Yeah.
Like that's, one, you're not going to learn. You're just going to be on your computer or whatever.
Yeah.
But number two, what better experience and what better learning than just doing it yourself?
By doing. I agree.
Exactly.
Look, I think memorization can teach you so much, but it's the application that you actually learn from.
That's why I didn't really want to go to school. It's
Yeah.
all just yap and bishop. It doesn't really do much unless you're going to be like a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. I think if you're doing something tangible, it's very, very helpful.
You do need it, but as a content creator or an entrepreneur, just spend the time and money. If I had the $200K that I spent to Penn State classes to invest in my own company, I would feel like I'd learn so much more.
Yeah, because you would have trial and error, and also you would like genuinely see where money should go, how it should flow, where it's working, everything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think now I guess my last question for you, because I think we can probably talk for hours about this, because I genuinely would talk about the business side. Maybe that could be a part two, because I want to keep this strictly to college and all that good stuff.
I like it.
But yeah, so now I want to go one last piece of advice to where when you're thinking about college now, I think a lot of kids want an action plan. So I know I asked you this before, what would you do if you were a college freshman? But I think now, you're in college and now you actually want to be an entrepreneur. This is a lot different from just, making your freshman year good. I think if someone wants to be Justin Leusner now, is that pronouncing it properly?
You nailed it, and no one ever does. So
all right, there you go. Yeah. So the little German spelling with the EU. I think I had to get that right there, bro. But if you're at college now and they want to be you, they want to say, I want to graduate. I have the exact same goals. I was the same insecure kid. I had the hardest time ever. College sucks, but I want to be you because you are my inspiration for success. So many kids grow up watching sports or loving Taylor Swift or whatever the hell it is. And they would rather make videos and do that their entire life than do this thing, right? What do you say to that person? How do you give them, what's your action plan for them to go and do?
I'll give you a 5-step action plan to reach your
notes.
dreams.
If you're at this part of the video, take fucking notes.
All right, here's my 5-step action plan for any college freshman to reach their dreams. Number 1, you got to go in with a clear North Star. Even if you don't have it figured out, that's okay, but you should have one by sophomore at least, or if not junior year. One clear North Star you want to get when you graduate.
Yeah.
Number 2, you need to find someone who has done that and ask them questions on how they got there, what was their journey like, and learn from them and shadow them and be their apprentice and provide free value to them. Number 3 is exactly that. Do things for free. You don't need to charge money. You don't need to do brand deals for free. Like our biggest brand deal that we've ever done was with Gatorade. It started by doing free work.
Yeah.
Do things for free. And then you charge and slowly increase your rates. MMG, I edited a free video for him to show him what I could do. Got the job. That started the whole video editing business.
Yeah.
Do things for free. Don't have an ego. Just do things for free. Even if you're really good.
Yeah.
Number 4, 80% of life is just showing up. Just show up. Show up online. Show up in person. Show up to things. If you're introverted, too bad. So was I.
Yeah.
You need to force yourself to at least have an extroverted mode that you can lock into and be present. Be everywhere. Be people's friends.
Yeah.
Be likable.
Yeah.
And number 5 is just do what everyone else isn't. So if everyone else is going out drinking and being lazy on the weekends, use that time to work.
Yes.
I've never had one sip of alcohol at Penn State. I've been locked in.
Wow.
Locked in every single night. Friday night, I'm at the launch box. Saturday,
Wow.
at the launch box. Sunday, rest day, recovery, workout, meal prep. No distraction. I'm in the 0.1% of what others aren't. And I don't say that pridefully. I say it because people think they need to follow everyone. No, you do not. Do the thing that the 1%. Do what things aren't, people aren't. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah,
you get it.